Well, let's get some analysis now on the politics of Jacques Chirac with Jim Shields, a professor of French politics at the University of Warwick in the United Kingdom. Good afternoon to you, and thanks very much for talking to us today. You just heard there some of the fawning tributes by people who've come to the Élysée Palace today to remember Jacques Chirac. But I wonder, once the dust settles and Chirac is laid to rest, what do you think he'll be most remembered for, particularly abroad?
Well, there are different Chiracs who leave different legacies. There's the man of the people, close to the French, earthy, warm, at home in agricultural shows in a way no other president has been, a natural crowd pleaser, and an old-fashioned Gaullist looking out for France's interests on the world stage. Then there's the president of broken promises, who set records of unpopularity while in office and records for being perceived as dishonest, and who left little, really, by way of concrete reform or achievement from his years in power. And then there's the political assassin who made his way to the top by betraying colleagues, who attracted accusations of political corruption, and who stands today as the only former French president so far to be convicted in a corruption trial for abuse of public funds while mayor of Paris, though he was spared a court appearance on that and on grounds of ill health and given a suspended sentence. So you take your pick when it comes to Chirac's legacy, though clearly right now it's Chirac, the man of the people, that's being projected most strongly.
Well, let's talk about that corruption conviction that you mentioned there. How do you think he managed to still be remembered so fondly, even though he was, as you say, the first former president to ever be convicted of a crime on that scale?
Well, when Chirac left office, he was, as I've suggested, profoundly unpopular, and his conviction followed 4 years after he left. He left in 2007. He was convicted in 2011. And I think what has happened since is that retirement and being out of the limelight and inviting the French, in a sense, to indulge in nostalgia for the Chirac years has dimmed the edges of that conviction. The other thing, it has to be said, is that Nicolas Sarkozy, who followed him, is dragging, as the French say, a lot more casserole behind him in terms of potential court cases and accusations of corruption. So in that sense, Chirac's conviction has been relativized and to some extent normalized and forgiven in the bigger picture of what he stands for the French.
That then is, I suppose, perhaps he'll be remembered here in France. What about, though, on the world stage? Let's take the environment, for example. He, in many ways, was a kind of leading light on environmental issues. Emmanuel Macron, the current French president, still borrowing phrases that Jacques Chirac used, like "our house is burning." Do you think Emmanuel Macron is a president who wants to style himself in Chirac's image on the international stage?
Yes, I think he does. And I'd go further back than Chirac. I'd go back to de Gaulle. Macron is looking to style himself really as a quasi-Gaullist president on the world stage. And the fact is that Chirac is the last remnant of that Gaullist era. Chirac, let's remember, became a junior minister under Charles de Gaulle in 1967. So he is the last remnant of that Gaullist world that Emmanuel Macron is keen to connect with, at least rhetorically, whether it's on the environment or whether, more commonly, it's on asserting the place of France in the world. And Chirac was good at doing that. So he is a model for Macron to follow.
What about the issue of Iraq? I think, at least in the United Kingdom, perhaps in the United States as well, it is his opposition to the 2003 Iraq war that is most remembered. Do you think French people are quite proud of the stance that he took then?
Yes, I've no doubt that stands as his leading legacy, if you like. It's the biggest political gesture that Chirac made while in office on the world stage, and he was proved right. It was also a very Gaullist thing to do, of course, to stand up to the US, to stand up to Britain, and to assert French independence from what de Gaulle used to call Anglo-Saxon overlordship, being told what to do, basically, by the United States and to some degree, Britain.
We'd like to talk much more about it, but unfortunately, Jim Shields, we are out of time. Thank you very much, though, for sharing your analysis and your thoughts on the legacy of Jacques Chirac today on the programme. Let's move on.